Hi guys, so I've just got up and out and I'm heading into Gloucester today through Gloucester Park. I'm going in search of clothes, so I'm going to go and raid the charity shops, and I thought I'd have a little bit of a look around the cathedral and possibly also pop down to the docks, so just show you around this English city. So I was just walking through the park and I noticed that they're setting up a giant fun fair behind me, and I think for a couple of weeks every year there's a big fun fair in Gloucestershire Park. My dad was saying that it started after the Second World War because lots of families had children and they couldn't afford to take them away on holiday, so they started to have this fun fair and it's been running ever since, which I think is a really nice thing. Gloucester Park is really nice. It's got a bandstand, a bit of art, and an aviary where they keep birds. To get to town, I cross over the road and cut through the back streets. I'm guessing it's bin day today. If you're a true crime enthusiast, you might recognise the name of this street. The least said, the better. Lots of pretty hanging baskets as we approach the high street. Gloucester was an important trading and military settlement in Roman Britain. Founded around 48 AD, it was called Glevum, and you can still see the remains of the Roman town beneath the modern one. Here's the old east gate of the city. Despite the old facade, Eastgate Shopping Centre is pretty modern inside. But at the very back is a small market, and as you enter, there's the remains of a Roman mosaic found during construction. Walking around the market, I can't help wishing it looked a bit more like the market in Narbonne last year. There's nothing particularly attractive about this one. It's full of novelty items like t-shirts and toilet roll dispensers that just feel a bit dated. There's a small fresh food section, but it doesn't feel overly inviting. It kind of feels like the life has been sapped out of this place. But there are plenty of other things in Gloucester that are worth visiting. There are some utterly beautiful buildings in Gloucester. It's always worth looking up as you're walking along the street. This is the old Bell and Baker's clock, showing the national dress of Ireland, England, Scotland and Wales. Let's duck down College Court. This is a street that I spent a lot of time on in my teens, as it's home to Pilgrims, a fairly well-stocked New Age shop. The West Country is witchy country. There's a pretty active pagan community. I even met Ronald Hutton at the local moot once. Pilgrims is a place for incense, tarot cards and esoteric books. And another one has opened just next door called Cauldron Creations, which has an impressive window dressing. Right opposite that is the Beatrix Potter Museum. I've passed this many times, but never been in. So, today I think we will. The museum is absolutely delightful. It's a tiny little house filled to the brim with Beatrix Potter memorabilia. And the reason for this is intriguing. Beatrix Potter wrote a story called The Tailor of Gloucester, about a tailor who had to make a waistcoat for the mayor's wedding, but he fell ill before he finished it and was worried that it wouldn't be ready in time. Overnight, the mice who lived in the shop worked together to finish it for him. The story is based on real events. The tailor's name was John Pritchard, and the mayor needed a new waistcoat for a local show. Mr. Pritchard was very worried it wouldn't be ready in time. He left the half-finished garment in the shop on Saturday, and when he returned on Monday, it had been completed. His 2 assistants had snuck into the shop to finish it for him, but they never told him. He later displayed the waistcoat in the window with a sign reading, "Come to Pritchard's, where the waistcoats are made at night by fairies." The tailor's shop is now this museum, and even has a copy of his birth certificate inside. Afterwards, I continued along the street to the cathedral. Welcome to Hogwarts. Fun fact about Gloucester Cathedral: this is where they filmed Harry Potter. It appeared in Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets and The Half-Blood Prince. The story goes that they were originally going to film it at Cheltenham Cathedral, but the Dean turned it down because he didn't like the idea of a film about witchcraft and wizardry. Never mind that it's an epic story about camaraderie and friendship, where good triumphs over evil. So they went to Gloucester instead, and they've had a constant stream of tourism ever since. Though whilst walking around, I did overhear somebody say that vandals had smashed many of the stained glass windows after the films were released, and a large chunk of money from filming went to repairing them. People throw money into fountains and wells and make a wish. But tradition says that you must never tell anybody what you wish for, otherwise it won't come true. This is where Ron and Harry hid when they saw the troll going into the bathroom to attack Hermione. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like some kind of sink for ablutions. Look how worn these ledger stones are. It's hard to imagine how many generations have walked these corridors over the centuries. In the entranceway to the cathedral is a floor maze. It's supposed to help you release your fears and worries and enter a meditative state. There's only one route, and it brings you back to where you started. There are a couple of people trying to walk it, but there was also a wedding party arriving, and things got a bit crowded. They eventually closed the cathedral, and those of us inside got to watch the bride arrive. This is the actual sound of the organ, no soundtrack added. After the wedding party had gone through, I headed out of the cathedral. I came out opposite Shire Hall. This was built in the early 1800s and is home to Gloucester County Council. So that was really lovely. We were just in the cathedral and there was a wedding taking place. So we got to see the bride coming into the cathedral and the organ playing. It was really beautiful. Understandably, we were asked not to take photographs because it's their, special private day, but it was really nice to witness it. So now I'm just taking a little bit of a walk down to the dockside and I'm going to try and find a pub and some food. Gloucester docks date back to the mid-1800s and the height of the Industrial Revolution, when Gloucester was a busy trading port for wool, coal, timber and a host of other items. Gloucester sits on the River Severn, which becomes the Bristol Channel further down, a major shipping lane between Wales and the south of England. That then opens out into the Irish Sea. On the other side, the docks join up with a network of canals that transport goods across the entire country by narrowboat. There's lots of seagulls, old pieces of industrial machinery, and also a dry dock where they still repair ships to this day. Every year there's a tall ship festival that attracts a lot of visitors. These are the large warehouses left over from the industrial era. They were used to store goods for transport, but then they fell into disrepair and dereliction. Around the 1990s and noughties, the docks were restored. Many of the warehouses have been turned into offices, apartments and restaurants. There's also a large shopping centre at the other side called Gloucester Quays, which attracts a lot of people. It's a fun place to hang out, a nice mix of old and new. Here's a bridge that lifts up to allow boats through. If we take a walk along the river, you can see what the warehouses used to look like before redevelopment. When we first moved to Gloucester, it was really run down. Everything looked like this. So it's amazing what they've done with it. A bit further along is a lighthouse boat called Sula, which oddly enough was the name of my first cat in Rwanda years ago. This lightship has been turned into an Airbnb and you can stay there. Right opposite are the ruins of Llanthony Secunda Priory. The priory was founded in 1136, but fell victim to Henry VIII in the mid-1500s, when England switched from Catholicism to the Church of England so that he could get a divorce. Today it frames the entrance to Gloucester College. Heading back towards the docks, it's time to cross that lifting bridge and take a look around the redeveloped part. I was really surprised to find a market in full swing. This is Orchard Street Market, and it appears to happen on the first weekend of every month, but don't quote me on that. I'll leave a link below. O'Donnell's Moonshine. This place was amazing. I tried the macadamia and the blood orange, and they were absolutely delicious. That's Christmas and birthdays covered from now on. These guys deliver organic fruit and veg boxes nationwide. No plastic or pesticides. This was the most amazing market find of the day. Little ceramic dishes that you use to grate garlic, ginger and even chocolate. So pretty and incredibly useful.
With a drop of water or a drop of olive oil.
Okay.
Only a little bit. And then you just rub your garlic cloves directly across the serrations. So it goes into a lovely paste. And then you can just brush that into whatever you're cooking.
Yeah.
And we sell it as a little set there.
Yeah.
So you get whatever plate you like. So the garlic peeler, which is that red tube, the little gathering brush and the leaf lid. They are fully glazed, so they will go in a dishwasher.
Well, that was a lovely surprise that I wasn't expecting. Time to head towards the Quays shopping centre. I love this shop. It's just a clothes shop, but the entire window is filled with vintage sewing machines. Pretty eye-catching. Here's a little treat. Traditional Welsh cakes. I overheard the guy talking. He said that he's now 75 and he started making Welsh cakes when he was 11. His grandmother made them to make ends meet. He's had this stall for around 15 years. A Welsh cake is kind of like a flat scone with raisins, flavoured with mixed spices and liberally coated in sugar. These ones are much bigger than normal, but very good. They're a complete meal in themselves. Even so, I popped into a local cafe for a smoked salmon bagel and a cup of lemonade. Out of curiosity, I went next door to see what was playing at the cinema. I walked in just in time to see a movie I was really looking forward to. Can you guess what it is? Yeah, Deadpool the Wolverine. It had to be, didn't it? It was a lot of fun, great vibes in the cinema and lots of people laughing. I needed to walk through the shopping centre to get home. There's so much to look at, from clothes and kitchenware to chocolate and shoes. I'm a huge Skechers fan and they have an outlet here. I couldn't resist. I'll just wrap up by showing you this much-loved bar in Gloucester. It's called Renes, right behind St Mary de Crypt Church. I had my leaving do here just before I went to Rwanda in 2007. It's a nice place to sit outside in the summer, but the reason it's memorable is for the interior. The entire ceiling is completely covered in wine bottles. It's pretty impressive. I hope you've enjoyed exploring Gloucester with me. Drop a like and subscribe if you have, and I'll see you in the next one.